Scheduled tribes constitute 8% of India's population. India also has the second largest population of scheduled tribes after Africa. But what has the government done for scheduled tribes? With me is Minister for Tribal Affairs and Panchayati Raj, KC Deo. Sir, welcome to Doordarshan, sir.
Thank you.
So I'll start with first, it's a simple question. What has the government done for the scheduled tribes in last 5 years? Concise, 2 brief points.
You see, in the last 5 or 6 years, I think what the UPA government has done is more than what any government has done so far for the scheduled tribes. One is the introduction of the Forest Right Act. Before this, the existence was not in fact recognized in our country. This was most unfortunate. So this, for once, not only recognized the existence, gave them the rights, some dignity, and I think it's gone a long way for the scheduled tribes, because I think this is a sort of a dream which has come true.
So how has it improved the situation of scheduled tribes vis-a-vis 10 years ago?
You see, 10 years ago, a scheduled tribe had no right of his existence. Now, what is the Forest Right Act sought to do? It is sought to recognize their pre-existing rights and to regularize it.
So giving a right is a different thing, improving the economic condition is a different thing. How has the government improved the economic condition? And specifically, when India is growing, has the scheduled tribes missed the bus, or the government is doing something so that they can also be part of that inclusive development?
Well, it's not the bus, they've missed almost everything so far. Well, what did the scheduled tribes live on? Minor forest produce, what they collected in the forest from the trees. You see, they had no rights over this till now. So when you're talking of economic empowerment, Forest Right Acts actually today has made them the owners of their own produce, which they have been living on for all these years. But earlier on, it was the mercy of either the forest department or of some government official. Today, they are the boss of their own destiny as far as these produce are concerned. We have also now, we are in the process of offering them a remunerative price for the minor forest produce. The cabinet has yet to approve it.
So there is one policy of term loan also. Can you just elaborate on that?
You see, these rights which we are granting them, these are heritable rights. So they cannot mortgage the land, they cannot sell it. It can only go to the heirs and successors. So naturally, no commercial bank is willing to give a loan to them. So we have a corporation called the National Scheduled Tribe Finance Development Corporation. We have started a scheme to give them loans once they have their pattas and rights recognized, up to 1 lakh rupees on easy terms at a minimal nominal interest of 6%. This will help them to make value addition to their produce. This will help them to develop the coarse grain cultivation, and I think this will go a long way to see that the economic condition improves further. The NSTFD, the National Scheduled Tribe Finance Development Corporation, also gives loans for education for tribal children. The only condition is that their income should not be more than twice that of the BPL income. And anyone who is interested in getting a loan for education will get a loan for that. We are providing them scholarships, pre-metric and post-metric. We are giving them scholarships for postgraduate studies, for the graduation, and so on and so forth.
So, but education, does that make them employable in the Indian economy?
Well, you need first the basic education. Once you get the basic education up to class 12, we also give them scholarships for higher education. We are trying to give them vocational training, have some semi-skilled institutes like industrial training institutes, polytechnics.
So you talked about education, you talked about economic condition, but talking about health. Without health, there is no wealth. There is an old age. So what's the scheme you have introduced so that the scheduled tribes don't suffer? According to an estimate, malaria is the biggest killer.
Well, you see, we have from the Health Ministry, there are several schemes. There is the Jawaharlal Nehru Rural Health Mission. There are special schemes for tribal areas also. And we from here actually disburse funds for education, for health.
So Bharat Nirman helping infrastructure developed in rural areas. How has the infrastructure developed in scheduled areas? and help the scheduled tribes also?
I think just a couple of months ago, I don't remember the exact date, but in the very recent past, you must have heard about the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. We in the cabinet have cleared 7,000 crores of rupees for connectivity of roads within the scheduled areas alone. And I think this has never happened before. So now all habitations in the scheduled areas which have a population of 250 or more will be connected with the Pakka roads. And once this is covered in the first stage, then the other habitations from 0 to 249 will also have roads.
So you talked about lots of funds being diverted from various ministries, but there is a cynicism that the funds don't reach to the person on the ground. How do you counter that?
Well, we have to, this has to be a cooperative effort. That cannot be countered by my ministry alone. As I told you, we have the state governments who have a responsibility. Then we have the district administration. Then we, at the lower level, we have the Gram Panchayats. And I think it will be a combined effort of all these people.
So do you plan to use the direct benefit transfer for transferring the fund from ministries to the person on the ground?
Yes, I do, but it will take time, because in many of these areas we don't have banks. If we do it through post offices, even post offices are lacking in these areas. And even after you have banks and post offices, connectivity factor is also there.
So scheduled areas, how do you plan to attract investment in these areas so that these areas become developed as compared to the other parts of the country?
You see, first of all, I personally feel that as far as the scheduled area is concerned, there are a lot of raw material available over there. People are poor, but the areas are very, very rich. So I think we'll have to provide infrastructural facilities. We have to create societies or groups from among the scheduled tribe communities, and then start industries first with the produce or products that are available in these parts.
So one, I would say a critical questions kind, which is pertaining to India's development now. Environment is important, tribal rights are important, industrialization is important. Do you think the government is able to balance all of them together?
Well, that has been our effort all along, and I think the UPA government has always stood for inclusive growth. Then that is precisely why we've given this much of attention to rural areas and also to the scheduled tribe areas. If you go through our annual budget, in the last 5 years, I think probably the allocation to rural areas have been much more than it's ever been before.
So it's been 20 years since Panchayati Raj, Rajiv Gandhi Panchayati Sashaktikarana Abhiyan. What is the main focus point in it? I'll
be funding states on a 75-25 basis in the plains areas, and in the northeastern region and in the scheduled type areas, I'll be giving 90% provided the state government gives 10% of their share. Now, this is basically a state subject. So for the state governments to get 75% in the normal areas and 90% in scheduled tribe areas, northeast areas, because of the conditions that are prevalent there, I think is a big help which the central government is going to extend for the strengthening of these Panchayat Raj institutions, PRIs.
So governance, important topic in UPA government. So how is this Panchayati Raj helping in governance, improving the governance, bringing more transparency? You
see, I have been actually trying to give a lot of importance to Gram Sabha. Now, the Gram Sabha actually is a unique institution that we have in our panchayats. All members who have voting rights are members of the Gram Sabha. Now, irrespective of whether panchayat elections are held or not, Gram Sabha is a continuous body because it constitutes, it's a general body of the village, entire village. And in fact, I have issued circulars from my Panchayat Raj ministry months ago to all the state governments, saying that they must hold a minimum of 4 Gram Sabhas every year in every panchayat, and that every Gram Sabha meeting must be recorded, video recorded. This is to ensure that there are no contrived Gram Sabha resolutions, or that there is no sort of dispute over what was decided at that particular meeting.
So you plan to use IT also?
Yes, of course. Of course, in fact, we intend, the Department of Communications have promised us that they will be able to provide broadband connections to all the 2,46,000 panchayats by the year 2014.
So that was Minister for Tribal Affairs and Panchayati Raj KC Deo talking exclusively to Doordarshan News. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.